Hi there, you're listening to the Guitar Speak podcast, produced here in Sydney, Australia. My name is Matt Wakeling, and thank you so much for joining me. Now today, we are taking a slightly different tack to our usual interview-based show. We've actually got a concert review for you today, and I'm talking about Alice Cooper, supported by Ace Frehley at the Sydney Hordern Pavilion, October 21, 2017. I was invited to attend as a reviewer from Revolutions Per Minute Publicity, and thanks to Jade for that invite. They were the people who teed up our Def Havana interview a few episodes ago on the Guitar Speak podcast. It's actually the second time I've been to the Hordern in the last few weeks. I saw Dream Theater there a few weeks ago, which was also an incredible show. Really, really cool. So Saturday night got to the Hordern in time to catch Ace Frehley. Now you've got to understand, for me, Ace was my first guitar hero, and not just me. Probably half the rock and roll guitar playing population feels the same way. But as a kid, seeing Ace with the makeup and doing all the Kiss albums and all the videos and stuff, Ace was a huge influence even before I started playing guitar. And my first album actually was Kiss Double Platinum, which was sort of a greatest hits release. I think it came out about 78 or something. I got it in 81, I think. So my first album on double vinyl. So I've been a huge fan. Now, to come clean, my first vinyl, was actually The Village People, the single You Can't Stop the Music, with Milkshake as the B-side. But I stand by it. I stand by that. But yeah, Kiss was my first full-length album. And I don't have the vinyl anymore, but I still have that album on CD and busted out. It had Detroit Rock City on there, which was and still is my favourite Kiss tune. So anyway, Ace was the first guitarist I noticed that it sort of made sense that the way he was moving his fingers was actually creating these guitar solos. I guess I picked that up from a video or something, but so he was probably the first guy I noticed creating guitar solos. The other really notable one was Prince doing Let's Get Crazy. Anyway, back to Ace. So opening up for Alice Cooper, he was in super good form. I don't know if you've read much from some of his former bandmates about where he is at, but I wasn't sure what to expect. But Ace was in great form, 66 years old, and just smashing it, playing really, really great, and singing a bunch of the tunes. Sounded fantastic. He had a couple of vintage Marshall cabs right behind him. I assume they were plugged into some sort of Marshall head, I'm guessing. And of course, he was playing a bunch of Les Pauls. He had one with this sort of mirror encrusted finish. He had another beautiful flame maple with a tobacco sunburst kind of finish. That was a really beautiful looking LP Les Paul. And of course, he had his smoking triple pickup cherry sunburst. I was sort of towards the back for Ace's set, but it looked pretty much like a dead ringer for one of his signature models from Gibson, with the neck pickup removed to allow for the smoke during the unaccompanied solo, which was kind of cool to see. I'll talk more about that in a little while. But some of the tunes, it was great to hear some of the Kiss classics, like Back in the New York Groove, obviously an Ace signature tune. That was super cool. Shock Me. Detroit Rock City, I wasn't expecting him to do that, but he did. His drummer sang it and did a fantastic job. And that was super cool. That was my highlight, obviously, of the Ace set. And again, just his parts, beautiful, great tone, and he just laid into the parts as you would have expected, back in the day. Fantastic job. And he closed with Juice, which was awesome. So again, those riffs were just smashed out. Really great band, 4-piece. Just another second guitar player, bass, drums, and they all sang. So pretty cool set from Ace Frehley. Got to say the Hordern was really full. Again for the Dream Theater show, that was a big crowd too. But they did have some of the side areas sort of curtained off, just knocking out a couple of rows. So for the Alice Cooper Ace Frehley gig, those curtains were gone, and the Hordern was pretty chockers. So during the break between Ace and Alice, a bunch of people cleared off the floor, so I ended up getting a really good spot. I was probably about 20 metres from the stage, kind of planted in front of Ryan Roxy on stage right. Now, I've never been to an Alice Cooper show, but I've got to say, I was blown away. And I mean, first up, Alice Cooper is in super good form. He must be hitting around 70 years of age, but had the crowd in the palm of his hand and just delivered the songs. Really delivered them. And he sang great, sounded fantastic. I mean, the other thing that was super obvious was just the intensity of the band. So just quickly talk through this. Ryan Roxy, Tommy Henriksen, Anita Strauss on guitars, like a 3-guitar army. Absolutely unbelievable. So well rehearsed. Like the parts were so well orchestrated, and a lot of the time it was Ryan Roxy and Nita Strauss in the limelight, taking a lot of the solos or a lot of the harmony parts, with Tommy Henriksen really filling out the rhythm textures, although he stepped out and smashed out some killer solos as well. Super good, but just beautifully orchestrated guitars. So, 3 electric guitars in a band, it's not unheard of these days, but to do it well, you need, obviously to plan your tones and your parts very, very carefully. And the front of house mix was brilliant. So 3 guitars absolutely worked in this band. Nita Strauss, if you know her work at all, she's obviously brings the modern shred kind of edge to the material. So, she's up there playing a bunch of Ibanez RGs and S-series guitars, the Floyd Rose, and just, it's the more contemporary, heavier kind of a tone. She was incredible. And Ryan Roxy, man, what a player. Really straddles, old school with, I don't know, just a contemporary intensity, and again, unreal tones. Like between him and Tommy Henriksen, it was like a Gibson factory up there. So let me just quickly go through Ryan Roxy's guitars. I saw he had a couple of Firebirds. He had an LP special with a P90. That only came out for the second tune, which I think was No More Mr. Nice Guy. From memory, that sounded awesome, that P90. He had a 335, had a Les Paul, had an Epiphone Explorer, sounded great. Busted out the SG double neck, the 12 and the 6 for Only Women Bleed, and just sounded great all night. Really classic rock kind of tone. He busted out a few effects. I could hear some trem. I heard a uni vibe at one stage in the night, which was really, really cool. And then on the opposite side, Tommy Henriksen had this really cool 3. I think it was a 335. Might have been a solid body. Was that a 355? I think, but that kind of style with a really cool finish, kind of this black and white splotchy finish. Had a green SG triple pickup, super cool. Probably maybe guitar of the night. I don't know. That was cool. Had a great Firebird. I think he got a Les Paul out, perhaps at one stage as well. Chuck Garrick on bass just sat on his precision all night long, playing super fat lines. That was great as well. So really great tones. I couldn't see any amps on stage. There was obviously lots of Alice's stage props and things, and some cool kind of backdrops. No amps, so they're obviously running in ears and some kind of off stage amps. I didn't have access to the stage, so I can't verify whether they're using like a direct rig, like an XFX or something, or if they're miking stuff off stage for this tour. At any rate, the tones were great, super fat, super present, and like I said, the three guitar players worked brilliantly well together. So it was cool. Now, Alice Cooper, of course, is the king of theatrical rock. So he had some of his trademark moves. He had the guillotine. He had the Frankenstein, the giant Frankenstein on stage that he turned into during "Be My Frankenstein." Of course, great tune from the early '90s. What else? Had the nurse came out. Had a couple of ghouls, a couple of skeleton ghouls hanging around. Now, for me, to be honest, I mean, the crowd went nuts during some of these moments. For me, these weren't a big deal because I was so into the band. The band was just throwing down between Alice and the Five Musicians. They were just super delivering this stuff with 100% commitment. So it sounded great. And the songs are really strong rock tunes too. So, I don't know, a few highlights: Department of Youth, Billion Dollar Babies, Woman of Mass Distraction, I'm 18, closing off the set. And then the encore, of course, was School's Out with a little bit of Pink Floyd, Brick in the Wall thrown in for good measure. And that was the show. Super tight show, not a lot of banter apart from the theatrics. But yeah, I mean, I could take it or leave it if some of that stage stuff goes on. Much like with Ace, with his smoking guitar during the unaccompanied guitar solo. That's cool. And obviously it's a big part of Ace's history, and for fans to see that that's probably pretty cool. And again, the crowd went off for Ace's smoking guitar. But for me, for both sets, I was just into the bands, both bands, just playing really hard, really intensely, and delivering these classic tunes in excellent form. So all in all, great show, really great show. So again, my thanks to Jade from Revolutions Per Minute. And if you were at the show, I'd love to know what you thought. If you agreed with some of my thoughts, if you had some other insights, I'd love to hear them. We're on Facebook, Guitar Speak Podcast, on Facebook, or also Instagram. So if you want to drop us a note up there, perhaps, that'd be cool. All right, now coming up on our show, we're back into interview mode. Coming up, we've got Sydney instrumentalist Simon Ruffalo with some great new music coming out. And also another episode after that will be Joel Hoekstra, current guitarist with Whitesnake. Has also recently played with Cher and is about to go on tour with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So a couple of great episodes coming up. So make sure you are subscribed to us on iTunes podcasts, sorry, Apple Podcasts, I should say, or wherever else you get your podcasts from. Okay, thanks for joining me. My name's Matt Wakeling. You've been listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. Catch you next time. Bye now.